una pioggia di chiacchiere, camminando nel paese delle maschere. Uragani di parole ghiacciate scrivono sulle mie mani bagnate. Il colore della sabbia scotta, un'idea rimane sempre asciutta. In un angolo di stato mentale, fuori dalla mia stagione mentale. Tutto ciò che potrebbe dividere te da me, continueresti.
So what can digital storytelling bring to our classrooms? Energy, imagination, engagement? Is it more about the tools or the act of creation, the personal narrative or the reflective and critical thinking required to plan how the story will be told? Just imagine the possibilities. I love that digital storytelling can help us open our students' minds. They can look at what's inside them, around them, beyond them. I mean, it's just an imagination tool, a travel passport to be able to have them express themselves.
My grandfather took home movies with an old Kodak 16mm movie camera. They didn't have zoom lenses in those days, and he knew how to hold his shots. Each year, as his sons were growing up, there are my two uncles, and my father behind them. Each year he would march them out of the house, line them up in front of the camera and say, "Turn, now." And they would turn, and turn. And then they would try to figure out which way they were supposed to turn. I love watching their relative heights change. One year my mother appeared in the lineup. As they turned, they kissed and laughed. They were divorced when I was young, and I never remember them showing much affection, so this is a magic moment for me. The next year, 1941, a new generation. That's me and a cheap camera trick. I never get tired of looking at these images. These men and women now in their 80s looking so young and vital, the colors so rich, and the breeze still blowing through the trees of this land of ours. I think to myself now, where has time gone? My father and I would often look at these movies together, and he would say to me with obvious affection,
"You were so cute then."
And I was. I mean, look at me. We all were. Then I thought to myself, and now look at you. I suspect he must have had the same thought, though he never would have uttered it. I mean, it must have completely dumbfounded him that his firstborn, his only son, Dana Winslow, actually the third, could possibly have ended up traveling around the country at age 30, calling himself the Colorado Spaceman. This is not what my father had in mind.
Dana, along with Joe and Nina, went on to found the Center for Digital Storytelling. They knew in their storytelling bones that people of all ages, backgrounds, and cultures have stories, and they set out to support that process and capture those stories. As their expertise with the medium grew, they identified 7 core elements that make a digital story work over and over and over again. It's easy to see how these elements, from point of view to pacing, can be integrated into any classroom and help students and teachers achieve skills and proficiencies identified by the core curriculum standards. It's easy to translate the 7 core elements into the language arts framework. Oral and visual communication, speaking and listening are integral parts to creating a digital story with a personal narrative center stage. Media literacy is, of course, an essential component. Writing takes the form of a storyboard. It must be scripted again and again as it's polished and crafted to fit perfectly with the carefully chosen images and backdrop that express the narrator's point of view. Reading and comprehension, research and analysis are all engaged as the young filmmaker problem solves how best to arrange the favorite images, music, and words to communicate a deliberate message in a way that resonates with its audience. The beauty of digital storytelling is that it can be used by all grades and disciplines to meet core standards. Kindergarteners can put together a story on their ABCs, middle schoolers can integrate visual data like maps, graphs, and charts to depict their research on the expansion of the West. High schoolers can interview an important mentor in their life. Math students collaborate on how to explain a particularly difficult math concept, helping people make the knowledge connections. Just by looking at the 9th and 10th grade standards, it's easy to see how digital literacy is an ideal method to achieve these milestones and practice and hone the skills targeted. Digital storytelling stimulates deep thinking, no bones about it. Critical thinking, reflective thinking, creative thinking. It's just multi-layers and dimensions of knowledge and skills. Educators do not have to be alone out there either. In addition to Center for Digital Storytelling, the University of Houston has created an excellent website with lots of resources and information, everything from how-tos to best software to use, educational materials, examples. You have everything you need to integrate this into your classroom and move forward. Another great resource for technology integration is the ISTE website. As an organization, this group sets the standards for evaluating the skills and knowledge students need to learn effectively and live productively in our increasingly global and digital world. On their site, you can find ideas, networking forum, and a portal for teachers to find all kinds of technology resources. By integrating digital storytelling into our classrooms, we are creating authentic learning experiences that help our students acquire high-level skill sets to navigate in a complex world and succeed. 21st century skills require that students graduate as fluent communicators, critical thinkers. They have to be proficient at writing, analyzing, accessing information, evaluating it, creating it in a variety of forms. Digital storytelling does just that.
Yeah, I went to Venice High School and I had like good test scores and pretty alright grades. And
my story is about being in school, learning everything I can, using it in life, eventually get a job.
But I got suspended.
The message of the documentary is
that students are very different. They're different from one another. They need different things.
I was given a second chance, moving to the United States, living in South Central, where I was raised, with no toys, only bullet shells that I would collect.
And then I hear my mom telling my brother, like, oh yeah, you were gonna get aborted, and I was just like...
Teachers tell me like I didn't have a future, you know?
First chance was on the streets and all that bad stuff. And that wasn't me, so, you know, I think I was meant to have a second chance to move on in life.
Advice for police would be not to judge people.
Mamá sufriendo miedo, su corazón yo me lo quebré, qué mal ejemplo dejé por la mujer que amo con toda mi alma. Ojalá que me bendigas, madre mía querida, como me decías. Y yo con los otros niños desgraciando un mal hijo, perdón por los dolores, todas las lágrimas que lloraste. Yo no sé qué me está pasando, robando, ya me lo matando por las calles, causando daño en el barrio del otro lado. Cuando me dejaron encarcelado, estabas allí en mi tiempo de necesidades, más nunca te olvidaste de mí. Y ahora me recuerdo de ti como un ángel en la pobreza, mami dispensa por las tristezas, las mentiras y los problemas, lo siento por dentro, siempre me recuerdo de mis travesuras, y la vida que tuviste es dura, tu alegría es medicina que me cura.
Students today are already plugged into technology in ways unimaginable 5, 10, 20 years ago. Internet, iPhone, iPads, iTunes, video games, Facebook, YouTube. Today's youth are cutting their teeth on technology at younger and younger ages. So what better strategy to engage their attention, interest, and excitement and curiosity than by using a medium and tools that they already have some comfort and familiarity with? Introducing compatible technology helps them build on this prior knowledge while developing new skills and knowledge that will prepare them to be active 21st century participants. There's no doubt about it, digital storytelling is a compelling method to empower students to find their voice, use their voice. It can empower them to take a stand, express an opinion, form a persuasive argument that advocates for change. It's an instructional technique that allows students to tell the story that's most important for them to have the world hear.
Hi, my name is Wendy. I am a student at Lincoln High School. Growing up, watching my father suffer from diabetes, because of his condition, he has to go to dialysis treatment 3 times a week. This has also forced my family all to work. My mom, my brother, and I all work to support him. During his sickness, he became blind from one eye, and whenever he went to a health center, communication became harder because the nurses thought he was ignoring them, when really he really needed help. He then got his eyes checked and then surgery. Because of this experience, I want to help my community and provide better care for families who have struggled like my father. I know I'm not the only one who has dealt with this issue. I plan to become a dialysis technician to help my dad and others.
Making my way north on an unpretentious day. Yesterday the sky was naked. Today she's wrapped herself in grey. And I have cloaked myself in my hat and coat and dreams. So for now I am safe from the cold. Whatever today